Yeah,
Do that first.
and I'm,
Let me, as we talk about this, let me share a Google Earth image of this, what is platted as a road, but is only built as a driveway. And so this is along, I think is it Bellin Road?
Yep.
And this
no, this is up north, or Meikle? Yeah, Meikle, yes,
Meikle, isn't that off Bellin
yes.
Road? So this is what is platted as a street, but it is obviously not built as a public or private street. And it goes back in quite a ways to this house, and is just, there's a big, basically a parking lot, a private parking lot back there, but it's not built as a street. This house is addressed off of Bellin Road. This house is addressed off Bellin Road, and this house is addressed off Bellin Road. And evidently there's another lot back in here that is platted. And from my understanding and talking with Michelle, they were asking for a building permit off there.
And there was an amended plat approved for that lot.
There was what?
There is an amended plat that was approved for that lot back there.
There is an amended plat, although it still does not have a public or a private road standard built to the lot.
And did you ever find any attached drawings to it?
So we found the plat for Meikle Subdivision number 2, but there was no improvement drawings ever submitted that I could find.
Okay. Roger, I don't know how your memory is on this, but they came back in and went through and approved this. They knew that they had limited access frontage in there. This is back in Bill's time. They did review it, had it considered, and decided that it was okay to approve it with the right of ways with the reduced road cross section as a exemption or exception to the standards. The only thing that they were obligated to do that they didn't was to construct the cul-de-sac. So they never did anything else with it. Now they're wanting to activate it. We told them they had to construct the cul-de-sac as was approved. The lot owner on the southeast corner of it does not want to have all his trees and stuff tore out. So they're wanting to come in and file another amended plat, moving the cul-de-sac farther back in and incorporating it into what is the open parking area there. That would still give access and frontage to those. The road has been dedicated to the public already. The right of way has been dedicated through those plats. So the back lots do not have access to, they don't have frontage on the county road because they deeded the frontage that they did have into the road right of way.
And again, there's platted right of way there, but it is certainly not constructed to a standard for either a private road or a public road.
And
it's just too narrow.
Well, and the reason they did that was they have an existing home on the north side next to Bellin Road. That you can see the L-shaped home up there.
This
that one. It's entirely too close to the road. Once you get past it, then they had the ability to widen it out. But the discussion that took place back then was, given that they were only going to have 2 homes going back into it, that the opinion at the time was it wasn't necessary to have a full width county cross section, and they considered giving them the approval for accessing, utilizing the existing standard that they had on the roads. And
So if they did that, the question comes up is why do they, all three of the existing houses have a Bellin Road address?
because initially the house on the north isn't included in the plat. The two lots on the south were, and they were in existence to begin with, but they were non-compliant with frontage. So that's why they came in and put the road in and developed it so they could get permits to be able to sell that back house.
Trying to pull up Bellin Road here.
It's Craig Davis is in there, I think, and Bart Davis. Isn't that where Bart's home is?
Yeah, it
Back one is Mark Davis's.
used to be Judge Tingy.
Yep. All I can tell you is the actions that took place. I can't necessarily tell you if it was consideration for the people, but it was discussed and considered and approved. But it was approved with subject to them putting the official cul-de-sac in. At that time, I think it was Bart that had the back lot. He did not want to have the cul-de-sac back in his parking lot area. It's changed hands since then, and now they are willing to do that. And the new owner on the front does not want to have the cul-de-sac placed where it was dedicated.
Who's the new owner on the front?
I still haven't got mine pulled up yet.
I'm having a hard time getting the imagery because it's inside the city limits, so it just shows the.
Oh, I'm getting warm now. There we go.
Harold Davis is on the south side of the road and Nachum is on the north side of the road.
I don't know why I can't find Bellin Road.
Jackie, why are you calling me?
Find the airport, and it's just the south end of the airport visually.
Just south of the dairy, Reed's Dairy.
I'm in that area, but every time I move it so I can see the road name, it has a yellow block over it because it's Idaho Falls and it's zoning.
I just shared a screen that shows the parcel viewer of that area. That's Harold Davis, Cecil Davis. This is the lot in question, Cecil Davis.
Well, Cecil passed away, didn't he?
Very well could be. That's what's on the parcel viewer.
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay, so point to where the cul-de-sac was supposed to be built.
Right
This is
there
where the
now.
cul-de-sac's supposed to be built, but this is where all of the trees here. Let me pull up, see if I'll get an image here.
That's what I was.
That
Yeah.
shows pretty well.
I apologize. Thanks for calling me.
And who has the house that doesn't want the trees built there?
That's whoever the Cecil people are now.
Well, so this
I
is
mean,
Harold Davis that probably doesn't want the cul-de-sac built on right here where all those trees are. This is under the Cecil Davis.
Where's Bart's house?
This is what used to be, I think, Mark Davis's house.
But he sold it.
Well, it's listed under this Cecil Davis now.
and then Cecil owns the lot to the north that was.
So Mark Davis still owns this little stretch, which I don't know how exactly that happened. That is on the Meikle Subdivision number 2. That is lot 2A, and I don't know exactly why it would be there.
But the cul-de-sac where it's built, would that comply?
Well, this is a parking lot for this house, and so it's all on private property. This was as far as it was platted as a roadway, even though it wasn't constructed as a roadway. So this is private property.
What needed to occur back then, they already had the road in place. They were required to put the cul-de-sac in before they were going to be able to get a permit for the other property.
What year was it? I don't remember any of that.
So the Meikle Subdivision division number 2 was recorded in 2002.
Okay, I haven't been here very long.
I say it was one of the early actions.
Well, I think they have to either comply with the plat or change the plat to dedicate where the turnaround is, or take the trees down if they want a building permit.
Yeah, I agree.
As I understand, though, they are willing to amend the plat and put it back farther. Is that not correct, Austin?
Yeah, they would be willing to amend the plat and even put that cul-de-sac back further and make improvements to that, what is now a parking area, to make it an actual cul-de-sac. They just were wondering about if they could get away with not doing the initial improvements on the whole roadway, widening that all the way back.
And what would widening require?
Taking out a whole bunch of trees.
Are they growing into where safety vehicles can't access it? Because it's getting.
Let me go back to the street view from Google Earth here.
Austin went out yesterday or went Monday and took pictures on the ground and did some measurements of it. Didn't you say they like have an 18-foot wide driving surface?
Yeah, can you see that? Let's see, can you see that picture?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's looking back towards Bellin Road. It's pretty much oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scroll through that. That's an 18-foot wide driving surface is what they have now. And where it's back further, they could probably widen it a little bit where I'm standing at this picture, but as you get up closer to where the house is, where Lance showed us from the street view, I don't know that they could get it much wider because of that existing house there, and then there's some big huge trees and some other stuff right on that side there they'd have to take out to maybe push it that way. But
if I recall correctly, there's also a well right next to the road right of way.
yeah, I think so.
So Austin, if you want to, I can go back to the street view. If you'll stop sharing, I'll start sharing a screen.
Yeah, let me get to the thing here, just to click stop share. Okay.
So the Google Street View of it. So you've got a canal crossing there, phone box, power pole, and this is what he's talking. So it's probably 18 feet wide, and our minimum standard is 28 for a county approved road. So it's significantly shy of what would be considered a public or private road.
We haven't maintained that, have we?
We have not maintained it, no. It has never been accepted as a private or public road by the county.
Because they were told at the time when that was approved that before we would do it, that they would have to get the cul-de-sac in, and they never installed it. So that's why that action never took place.
Well, but even if they got the cul-de-sac in, would we accept it?
Not the way it's constructed now.
Yeah. That goes back to, which I don't think there's no improvement plans to say what the improvements were supposed to be on it. It goes back to what I'm recalling the discussion. I remember it quite well because that was Bill's position on it, is where there was such minimal approach back in there, minimal use of it, that he was okay with the narrower right-of-way approach or the narrower improvements.
I don't know. I don't know if we ever.
It didn't create any safety concerns or access concerns for getting equipment in, emergency services, that the 18-foot was adequate. The pavement was in place when they approved the subdivision plat.
I don't know how we could ever accept it for public maintenance. If they platted it, could they keep the right of way and then make it privately maintained as long as they kept enough passage for emergency vehicles in there?
So that could be, I guess there's a couple of questions I have about that. Is like, so we have a standard for a private road, but it's still the same width as a public road. It's still a minimum of 28 foot wide. And that's to allow two-way traffic.
And we're looking back at where Bill approved this at a different.
Yeah.
So can you force that? My question is, do we want to complicate it by allowing another building permit in there?
Well, the only problem we have is we did approve the subdivision plat for the other lot.
But a subdivision plat is subject to building standards. And again, I can't find anything in writing that was or was not accepted by Bill as far as width and cross section.
I'm actually stumped.
I am too. That looks like a mess there.
Yeah, a mess with one final complicated cleanup, maybe.
Well, and I think it gets complicated because of this lot 2A going through there and what it looks like, as opposed to other things. If I go back to the parcel viewer with the image underneath it, what happens with this property that's still in Bart Davis's name? If you try to push the cul-de-sac back further, then you're dealing with this owner and Bart Davis and this owner to try to get some sort of permanent easement or something like that. And then it still is a privately maintained driveway.
Well, the issue that we have to deal with that is it's a 2A, so it's a split after the subdivision plat was recorded.
Well, it's actually recorded under Meikle Subdivision number 2. It's in there as 2A.
This is Austin. So when we talked to them, when Suzanne and I talked to them last week, their intent is anyways, Cecil and Bart have some kind of relationship. If they were to amend the plat and fix that, they're going to dissolve that lot 2A into one of the two lots, either combine it into their existing one on the south or on the north. So that'll go away, and then they would push that cul-de-sac up a little further to where that parking lot area is their plan, or what they presented to us.
When they dissolve it, they need to dissolve it into the lot on the south because they don't have sufficient setbacks on that home without it.
Right.
And maybe that's the widow, because Cecil did pass away in 2018, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, it is. She told us that when she was in here, so.
Okay.
Where's Bart living?
I don't know.
So I wonder if they were thinking about extending that drive back so they could put I don't know, how deep does his property go to? Is the light tan colored the subdivision of the city?
I think it's the subdivision of the city back here, yeah.
So they couldn't split off another lot behind his house then?
No,
That's well,
House is one that's on the road south of this road, the northern house. So on the map here, you see on the screen, the one that ends in 10010,
This one,
the long one. Nope, down one more.
this one.
That's Bart's house.
oh. Okay, I was thinking Bart's was down. Huh. Yeah, now I have no recollection. I remember Bart's issue was a driveway.
he was involved in this one.
I honestly don't know. I mean, they'd have to replat to get all that stuff cleaned up, and then the question would be, I don't think you can ever take it for a public standard, but they'd have to have it wide enough so they could get an emergency vehicle in there.
Well, 18 foot is wide enough to get the vehicles in and out. 9 foot's a little crowded, but you can pass two on a 9 foot or on an 18 foot width.
As long as you had the cul-de-sac so they could get in and turn around.
Yeah. The cul-de-sac is the bugger in this. It has to be constructed.
I don't know, Brian, that's your area.
Yeah, it is.
Your thoughts?
I personally don't see how we can give a permit on it till we get that resolved in one way or another. I think I just don't see any other way around it.
Yeah, I don't think you could go to the full county width, but if you just have, maybe change it to well, you have to have a public right of way privately maintained, don't you, Steve? To get a building
Yeah.
permit?
And this is a public right of way now. They did dedicate it. We do have other subdivisions that we allow them to do that. This one is an old one. This is what, as far as my recollection, this is the first one that we did with a modified road standard. I can't remember one before this that we messed around with the width of the road. At the time this was approved, we were talking 28 foot. No, we were talking 24 at the time when this was moved on. We bumped it up to 28 right after that. But so it is substandard, and it was a problem to begin with.
Well, it's like those others though that we don't accept for public maintenance because they can't bring them up to standard.
This one, if you have the dedicated right of way, you can recognize, if you want to, you can recognize the adjusted width on it.
But they've got to fix the cul-de-sac and the planning of the whole thing.
Yeah, but they'd have to move the cul-de-sac back and put in the full-size cul-de-sac for a turnaround for emergency, for fire trucks, basically.
Well, on the original Meikle subdivision, it was done in 1988, and that strip back here was dedicated as a 25-foot private roadway. And so it was redone.
For what it was.
What's that?
He wanted it to access as a private roadway to get back there to something. I don't recall what that was.
Well, maybe at one time they thought they could build back there.
Were you here in '88, Steve?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
I was here in '82.
Oh, You're old.
I am really old. This
Oh.
one was the problem for me back then. And the reason I remember it is because I had the same issues with it, that it didn't comply, it didn't comply. And they said, this is what we're going to approve. So I just said, okay.
Well, I think I agree with Brian that they've got to go in and replat it and get all the property title cleared up, get that out of Bart's name, and construct a cul-de-sac, not a parking area.
Well, and what do we do about the road width?
I think you just grandfathered that in, and you know, it's public right away, and there will be no public maintenance on it.
Okay.
So they, as a subdivision, can't put a gate on it.
Right.
So are they gonna have to, if they go through the replatting process and move that cul-de-sac further to the west, they're going to have to vacate a portion of the existing platted cul-de-sac area, right?
Yeah, I just file an amended plat from the start of the cul-de-sac, vacate that part of the right of way and extend it out. They just have to include the 3 lots into it, make it happen, because or the 4 lots. And just.
So doing a vacation process on that too is just, it's an added step, because the commissioners would have to agree to vacate that portion that's on private property if they try to just extend this back to the west.
But it's not private property, it's public property right now.
But you don't want it platted as a cul-de-sac, and furthermore, you want it cul-de-sac, right? You wouldn't want that because there's a bunch of trees there within that platted right away.
You would vacate that part of the right of way.
Yeah.
And just rededicate it farther back in on their lot. But that could be accomplished. They just have to file the vacate.
But all the owners have to sign off to agree, so any one of them doesn't, it's kind of blocks the building permit anyway then. Right?
And if they would have to agree to it, the first one, if the guys in the back wanted to put the road in, they could go in and take out the trees and put the cul-de-sac in. So it's a consensual thing between the 2 of them. The front lot owner does not want to have the cul-de-sac there. The back one is willing to put the cul-de-sac back on his property. So that would make it so that they're both consensual. They both would sign off on, they both have to sign the plat. When they sign the plat, that takes care of the dedication and the removal of it. Whether you would require them to vacate the south part of the bulb on that cul-de-sac, they want to move back anyway, so they would consent to doing the vacation of it. I don't think that wouldn't be an issue.
They're all family that's going to be affected, so I think they'll work it out.
Like you said, you didn't have anything complicated, Lance.
I did. This was on here from Steve, so it's all Steve's fault.
Okay.
We've got the same problem with that Bellin circle right below it, don't we?
We kind of have the same problem, although the cul-de-sac was generally built. We have accepted that for private or for public maintenance, and we have maintained that one. This one we never have.
I don't know how we maintained it. You got trees in the cul-de-sac, don't you?
There's trees within the platted right-of-way cul-de-sac, and yeah, there's probably a lot of them that should be trimmed out and removed. That gets to be a very sticky issue with people.
If it's fully
And the
right,
road,
If it,
the road
if,
honestly,
we've
isn't
never,
that much wider.
If it's obstructing your ability to get in there, you gotta remove them if they won't trim them back.
and so there has been some trimming done in there. It's not back to a point where it stopped us from going in there with a grader. But as you get further in here, it does crowd in on the asphalt. And if we need to, we have trimmed these trees in the past. We just haven't taken them all out.
On this other one, probably before they'll get that other cul-de-sac in, they're gonna have to take trees out on it also, but that's the pain of it to get the cul-de-sac in, because the cul-de-sac is the critical part of the emergency service access.
The cul-de-sac is supposed to be right here.
Well, let them work it out.
I think until they work it out, though, I don't see how a building permit can be issued.
I don't either.
Either.
I'm not gonna issue a permit until they either have the cul-de-sac constructed where it is platted, or they have the amended plat with it in within an alternate location for it and be built.
It's not gonna be very long before the city annexes all that anyway.
They can't force annex them.
No, they're completely surrounded. It's an island in there.
They'll find a way if they want to.
I guess it is true. They got them closed in on the south too.
Yeah, they can force annex that if they want to.
So there's a 50-foot radius cul-de-sac measured out.
Yeah, I just don't think you can give them a building permit until they resolve it.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let's go back to Lance. He's less complicated. How are we coming on engineering and things like that on some of those pipe projects and looking at some of those future road projects?
So they've started work on the design for the next piping, the 1.5 mile piping for this fall. They're got some preliminary numbers, and hopefully we'll have some final numbers to present to the commissioners within a week or two to tell what those widths should be from 17th Street on up to Iona Road. They're very close. They wanted to bring it to me this week, and I don't think they're going to make it this week. It'll probably be next week. So they're coming. I wanted to share with you, we did get a traffic count back from Old Irwin Road. And Old Irwin Road, with the amount of ADT, the trucks, the cars, the houses, still is at the top of the ranking. We haven't got a new count from 101st North or from Chapel Road or from 65th West. The 65th West one should, these are 2019 counts. We're going to get more of them this in the next couple weeks. But at least this is what the matrix looks like right now.
How much is left to build on the Old Irwin Road? 1.5 miles.
So there was about 1.5 miles.
And you're
That
not,
is our jurisdiction.
and okay, and that's, you're working on the next mile of Birch Creek, aren't you?
We're working on the next mile of Birch Creek this summer, yeah.
Well, when you get those new traffic counts, then we can sit and take a look and kind of look at the difficulty and the length of the project, and just make a call on it or let them know when it would be done.
Yeah, and yeah, we just look at it. So we took off, I took off Palisade Creek Road, I took off one section of 65th West that had already been paved, and I took off Birch Creek and Riverfront Drive. So that we've accomplished all of those so far. It leads into just a question. So we've heard from Idaho Asphalt that there's several other jurisdictions that have got more money from the state for road projects, and they are buying up all the surplus oil that Idaho Asphalt had. And so I'm wondering if there was a dollar figure that Bonneville County has received for road projects that I need to look at maybe putting together another contractor or getting some more oil scheduled to come to us to try to do.
Oil for like BSTs and things like
Well,
that?
so BSTs or chip sealing or other road projects we have. I don't know if there's any, the funds that are supposed to come to Bonneville County. I don't know whether I need to plan for some of that now or try to build it into next year's budget, because I haven't known how to put that into next year's budget without knowing that we're actually going to get some money.
We got about 1.6 million on the, that one time. But I don't know if we really talked about, how that's going to fit into everything. What's going to happen if you wait to put it in next year's budget as far as getting oil? You can have enough to do this year's projects?
We have enough to do this year's projects. We've already ordered it. We just, I don't know how to fit it in with extra stuff for next year, or whether we put that money towards a different project, like trying to extend 45th West and do that Crabs project instead of waiting for federal funds, or whether we put more money into 45th East and do that. So that's, I'm kind of weighing options here.
How long before you can get federal funds on the west?
I don't know. I keep asking the question, and LTAC isn't able to answer it right now. That portion of 45th West that we did is pretty good, but you get off of that up to the highway and it's rough.
How many miles is that?
We've got a little under 3 miles left to do. And then the federal aid project, it was coming in at roughly $1 million a mile.
That'd sure kill that fund pretty quick.
It would, yeah.
Yeah, the biggest concern is whether you've got enough, if you have to order early to get enough oil for next year's projects.
So we won't have to order early for next year's projects. It'll come in next year's contract. It's just right now, the price of oil actually came down this year from last year. And so if we can get a contract in place and they'll hold it, it may save us some overall money.
Do you have to pay for it when you get the contract in place to get them to hold it?
I'd have to double check with them. I don't know if they'll hold it for 8 months without something up front, but I can check with them.
Yeah, because that's something, if your budget's going to be complicated to sort out anyway, but if we kind of pre-buy that, then we adjust it in next year's budget where you don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you necessarily spend the money for something else,
Yeah.
How much would you pre-buy then? What's your total amount you would recommend? $10.
So right now in road special, we commit to about $800,000. And if that's still the case, looking at next year, we're not going to do less than that. So I guess that would be on my initial take at it, is like, look at the $800,000 and say, is it worth trying to lock that in at the price we have today?
I'd say if you're gonna lock it in, I think we can anticipate needing a little more for some of the projects we're gonna be doing.
Well, we will, it's just, it's a different oil. It's on the 45th East project, we're gonna have a mat road, and it's not gonna be the same type of oil that we get through Idaho Asphalt of this contract. Most of the oils we're talking about there are for chip sealing or BSTs.
Yeah, because, you know, one of the, as we look at using some of our one-time funds, I don't know where you are on your chip sealing schedule, if we're still falling behind. You know, one year we put some extra money in to try to catch up on that road. You know, what is it, every, how many years, 15 or something?
Well, so we're still falling behind because we're getting more and more roads added. We haven't had to chip seal most of those subdivision roads yet, but within the next 10 years, we probably will have to. So we're not catching up, but we're not falling as far behind as we were when we didn't have as much oil to do it, or didn't have as much dollars to do it.
Okay. Well, that's going to be in the long-term planning, but I think you're kind of just borrowing from that into what'll come in as other revenue to replace it by committing early. And if you can save the money, I don't think you're going to see oil prices go down.
Yeah, it kind of surprised us a little bit with this year when they came out with a bed in early February. The prices were lower, and I honestly was shocked. I didn't think it was going to go down.
That's what I think, is we lock in another 800,000.
Because we got the fund there to do it. It's just going to be juggling around to balance out what our future projects and priorities are going to be once we sit down and start going through that.
And we need to do that right away, I think, to determine, you know, all the use of that 1.6 that we got this year. And within the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping that Ron's able to get us a figure of our lost revenue. So that'll give us another number, right, for transportation needs.
I hope so. I told him to lock himself in his office. And he said I'd unplug my phone, but then it shuts off my computer. So I'm hoping.
Well, I can look into it and see if there's a way we can pre-order for next year at this price.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once we get some of these spreadsheets Ron's working on, I think we need to sit down. Have you submitted your budget to Penny?
I have submitted to the budget, both road special, road and bridge, and solid waste are all in.
Okay, because we're going to need, it's going to take a fair amount of work to sort out your accounts and what goes where and what goes into road special, and so we can track them better. If we can get that cleaned up this year, you know, so that we can identify what your basic operating expenses are, and then what's a little more variable or optional.
So yeah, when you get to looking at those budgets, if you want me to come over or whatever, let me know.
We'll have to have you over here for that, because I think it's probably gonna, you know, a lot of them, they'll just present them, and I think yours is gonna be one that's gonna have to take some work, you know, because Ron doesn't know what categories and things like that. So we need to sit down and work through yours.
Well, both of them, both road special and solid waste.
Yeah, well, solid waste is easier, you know, dedicated.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You haven't seen my request yet, so.
Well, you can always ask.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I told Blair too. It's like, well, we can ask, but.
You said I was difficult.
You got other difficulties.
Yeah.
It's not just budget issues, right?
You're the one that spends all the money.
Yeah, well, road and bridge is one of our toughest areas to
Yeah.
find ways to fund it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, I didn't have anything else on the agenda, so.
I'll talk to Penny and find out as soon as I can get her kind of settled down on all the panic she feels like she's under. Then we can start scheduling these. Because it's going to take you explaining everything with her and Ron there so we can figure out how to build your line items.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
I don't have anything else.
No, thanks.
So,
Okay.
Roger,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to say something to the guys. That this is my last meeting and that it's been a joy working with you guys.
I saw that stupid announcement and I was afraid of something.
Be afraid no more.
You told me you were
I'm
gonna
not
hang in
sure.
longer than that.
That's not allowed, I don't think. We didn't approve it over here.
Roger did.
No, Penny did. She's the one that had to tell me.
But I
That's
just wanted to
fair.
let you guys know.
Thanks for letting us know, Ruby.
You are very welcome.
So
When-
your last day is when?
The 28th.
Well, then you'll be here next week.
Well, no, I'm gonna be off on next Wednesday.
I think they're gonna try to have a get together for kind of the county employees that want to come visit you,
Oh, okay.
Penny, so you might have to come back for that.
Okay.
I haven't talked to her. She just asked about it and I said, I think, we're past the crowding issues and mask issues and everything enough. We could probably do that.
Okay. I'll plan on attending.
I'm tempted to go find a piece of chain and a padlock and we'll take care of that problem.
I have it in my desk drawer.
Do you?
All right, guys. I'll talk to you
Okay.
later.
Thank you.